Good morning, world. Am I even recording? Yeah, I am. Okay. I pressed record like 5 seconds ago and I already forgot that I pressed record. Oh my god. This is gonna be a ropey one. Ah, boy. Okay. I've been reading this book. It's called Martyr. It's by Kaveh Akbar. And I want to talk about this book. Because he becomes very obsessed with the idea of martyrdom. You know, giving your life for something that is bigger than yourself. It's this idea that for your life to matter, you have to be a martyr. Which is really interesting because I think there's an obsession with our generation. It does feel like in the online age, there is an obsession with that your life has to matter. You have to do something. As Gen Z, as children that were raised through the financial crash, and we're in this very dystopian society, we want to do everything to try and undermine this. Right? So we want our lives to matter. We want our lives to mean something. Legacy. And I think this is exacerbated. This need is exacerbated by the digital age. Everything is visible. Everything is seen. And I just saw this reel. My friend sent me a reel about how cringe culture and the shackles of cringe culture are finally coming off.
Being a tryhard is cool again. When you strip away the more experimental aesthetic codes of Gen Z, what you're left with is actually an incredibly conservative generation. Not necessarily politically, but socially and behaviorally. That's actually our fault. One of the core reasons is that we made them live their formative years under the oppressive gaze of cringe culture. Even us millennials got to experiment, fail, and reinvent ourselves in relative privacy. But the transnational surveillance state of social media means that every little misstep is scrutinized and archived. And when young people look at how millennials themselves were ridiculed for their earnest displays of self-expression, they learn that sincerity could be turned into a meme and that enthusiasm could be punished with ridicule. This has been the cultural imperative for the better part of the last decade. Never offer too much of yourself. Maintain control over your image at all costs. Which is partly why Gen Z are so obsessed with millennials. Our lame digital identities nevertheless represent all the sins you never dared to commit. But what I'm seeing as shoots of hope is a yearning to move beyond this enforced adolescence. And it's starting with artists. The big story of the last 12 months have been artists like Kendrick, Chappell Roan, Tyler the Creator. They proudly display all of their emotions. They're unashamedly singular in the pursuit of their craft, and ferociously critical of people who aren't here because they love it. It's also why Timothée Chalamet's acceptance speech for the SAG Award was such a powerful moment. It was a direct challenge to this culture of imposed disaffection and a clear statement. I've worked for this, I deserve to be rewarded, and I want more. This is all happening just as brands are starting to coalesce around this digital tone of voice of the disaffected, chronically online teenager. My friends, the well has run dry. Stop trying to pretend like you are just like everyone else. Show me things that are fucking awesome, that you put a lot of effort into. And show me the people and the passion that went into creating something special. It's a new day. Don't kill the part of you that's cringe. Kill the part of you that cringes.
And you might have seen the acceptance speech of Timothy. I'm going to adjust myself because this is a really uncomfortable position. But you might have seen the acceptance speech that Timothée Chalamet gave at the SAG Awards, the SAG Awards. But basically he was like, I'm in pursuit of greatness. And he said, I know no one talks like this, but I am in pursuit of greatness. I think as Gen Z, we feel this need to have a similar importance to our life. We want our life to matter. We want someone to... Because our life is so visible, we don't want to be seen as something regular. You know, having a 9-to-5 is almost frowned upon, right? Everyone wants to be living this life where we're in control and we create this life for ourselves, you know? Everyone wants to be an influencer. Everyone wants to be a creative. Being a creative is the number one thing that Gen Z want to do. I say number one, I don't have the stats on it, but whatever it might be, whatever someone is into that is creative, that's what people want to be, that's what's cool. Something bigger than ourselves. We don't want to slave away in a corporate job. That's not the Gen Z ideal. We wanna create something that matters. Something that feels personal, that feels authentic. You know, plugging away at a Excel spreadsheet, that's not what we want to be doing. Martyrdom. Martyrs. Give me a second. I want to gather my thoughts. Creating something that's bigger than yourself. Creating something that you're remembered for. What does it mean that I am up at 1 a.m. because I can't sleep, and then I decide to start recording? What does it mean? What is my purpose? Because I've long felt that same Gen Z urge that I am not made for a career. I'm not made for 40 years of doing the same thing, you know, clocking into work every single day, doing the same thing, going home, a wife and 2 kids. I've long felt that that's not for me. That's not what I'm here for. But then that begs the question, what am I here for? And I often feel like I'm wasting my time because I go to work at my minimum wage job and I barely make enough to get by. I get by, but I don't live lavish, you know, obviously. And I've moved to this whole new continent, away from my family, away from my friends. And sometimes I think, why have I done this? Why have I uprooted my life to go work a minimum wage job in another country? I can romanticize it as much as I want. I can tell myself that I'm on the hero's journey. It's not meant to make sense. It will make sense once I achieve glory, once I achieve what I want in life. But then it always comes back to that question, what do I want in life? I don't really know where I'm going with this idea of martyr. I guess what I want to say, and I feel like I'm coming to a sort of plateau in this video. I feel like I had steam and now I'm running out. This probably isn't even going to be uploaded because this is a nothing burger. What have I even said? I've said that Gen Z don't want to be... What have I said? I've said that Gen Z don't want to have a meaningless life. They want their life to mean something, right? Legacy. Oh my god. What the hell, man? What's the point of what I'm saying? I don't know. I guess I just started recording and hoped that I would land on something while I'm here, but I haven't. I haven't figured out the meaning of life. Shock. But I guess that's why I'm here. I guess that's why I'm talking to you right now, because I want my life to mean something. I don't want to be invisible, you know? I guess that's why I have always been so infatuated with this idea of being a YouTuber, having a channel. Even if I get 20 views, that's 20 people. It's 20 people that have seen my life. And that makes it feel like I mean something. One of my videos got like 2,000 views. That's 2,000 people that have watched me talk about being trans. It's kind of scary. It's kind of, you know, that part of me, that piece of me is out there forever. I think that's why I'm talking to you, because I want to be seen. I've spent my whole life feeling invisible, and now I want to reclaim some of my legacy. I want people to see me as something that is valuable, something that is worth listening to, someone that has perspective, and perspectives that are valuable and worth listening to. It's kind of a rush knowing that I can give my perspective on life, I can write about it and record it, edit it, post it online, and people watch it and find value in it. Because I watch these kind of videos all the time. I watch people talking to a camera, giving their perspective on life. I watch those kind of videos and it really feels like it enriches my life. It gives me a new perspective. And it's a rush knowing that I can be that for someone else, you know? Makes me feel like I mean something. And I guess that's a form of martyrdom in itself. You know, I'm sacrificing some of the control over my image. There's an idea of, going back to that reel, there's an idea that Gen Z want to be in control of their image, or they wanted to be. Back in cringe culture, they wanted full control over their image. They wouldn't step a foot out of line in fear of being judged and ridiculed and being called cringe. But now the pendulum is swinging in that they're giving everything to a craft. And now they don't care if they're being ridiculed for it. They're, as Timothée Chalamet said, they're in pursuit of greatness. And I guess that's the same for me. And now that I think about it, that's exactly how my life has gone. I used to be so constrained by fear of judgment. And now the complete opposite is happening, where I'm giving parts of myself to strangers on the internet. You know, every video is a part of myself that I'm giving you. In the same way that a book is a part of an author. This is a fiction book. It's about a fictional man called Cyrus Shams, but it's really a perspective offered by the author. You know, Cyrus is giving these takes on life and the idea of martyrdom. It's coming from Cyrus, the character, but it's really coming from the author, obviously. I don't know why I said obviously like that. So I guess me being here is a very mild form of martyrdom. It feels almost disrespectful to say that me just recording videos in my room is me being a martyr. It feels very disrespectful to the people that came before me, but it's true. I am giving my life to something that is bigger than myself. I spend my free time, instead of spending my free time watching Netflix or something, I spend it writing, recording, editing videos, because I want to be seen. The old Gen Z urge. And I guess that's a good place to leave it. I don't know if this video has made sense at all. I am sleep deprived and janky as hell right now. I'm just in my PJs. You know, casual video, completely unscripted, as you can definitely tell. But I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope you liked listening to me ramble. Cool, thanks, bye. Maybe I'll try and go back to sleep.